quick reminder for everybody. At the end of our last adventure, our party went to investigate some disappearances at the lovely adventuring town of Hembley-Hoo. The local fishermen have been disappearing, kind of vanishing over time, but it does seem, whatever the issue is, does seem to center on like just fishermen. And after arriving in town and asking around, visiting a few taverns and meeting with some different people, our party centered in on the mysterious, spooky, mist-covered lake that was in the mountains near this city. And so they headed up there to investigate. Very low visibility, thick, roiling fog over the surface of this lake, big mountain lake. Can't see to the other side of it. Don't know how far around it is. Decided to cast a line and see if they could find any clues that way. And in fact, they did hook a fish, big fish, and it actually yanked one of our party members, Willard Taffy, into the water. And Frode bravely rushed in after him, a large Hematetian rock creature, very stable and kind of able to get beneath the water and maneuver a little bit there. Willard was rescued, but determined, like, hey, I'm going to run out of breath. I have to pass this off to Frode. And so he pointed out the clue that he found to Frode, which is that there was a weird glowing rock at the bottom of the lake. And so Willard surfaced, knowing that Frode was headed to investigate that somewhere in the center of the lake. Willard is surrounded by mist on all sides, just as Frode went down to the kind of glowing rock thing on his own, and Frode decided to touch it, and we left on the note that everything vanished. We don't know what happened to Frode. And we won't find out just yet, because tonight our adventure doesn't pick up with Frode. Tonight our adventure picks up somewhere else. Players, the four of you make a note of this for yourself somewhere. You have 15 XP that must be spent during this scene. You can't apply it in the future. You are a creature with 8, 8, and 8 in your pools. Might, strength, and intellect. And you may each pick for yourselves one relevant skill that you are specialized in that would be a skill a goon would have, a crime goon, a thug, if you will. So go ahead and figure that out for yourselves. As we do, we'll set the scene with a little exposition, but you'll know when you enter the scene. I'll call you in. The camera opens up on a dimly lit room. A single chandelier with one candle in it swings back and forth from a stone ceiling. On one side of the table is a Gold Warden, one of the inferiors of Chasm Jasper, the Gold Guardian, responsible as an organization, the Gold Wardens, for defense against external threats to the city-state of Gaim. They have their cloak on, they have a little notepad in front of them and a quill. They've clearly been here for a while. Coffee rings stain the wooden table in front of them, and on the other end of the wooden table, in this, besides the candle, featureless room with a kind of large black top hat and his pinstriped suit, is Frankie the gangster. Frankie has been interrogated for the better part of 6 hours at this stage, and he has said nothing. And yes, rolls have happened off screen to determine whether he's given anything useful to the Guardians here. He sits there with a quiet confidence, a largesse that is betrayed by the fact that he's kind of a shortish guy. He's a dwarf, but his personality is very intimidating, and he seems completely unconcerned as this Gold Warden finally, smacks the table in frustration, stands up and heads for the door, to give up on him, let him simmer another hour and see if he's more talkative when we come back after dinner. He says, "Hey, detective, don't forget, I've got friends." And those 4 friends, or at least 4 of those friends, stand outside of a rundown, run-of-the-mill, kind of nothing noticeable about it safe house. Now, you know it's a safe house because it's your job as part of Frankie's organization to know where everything is. Frankie's the best fence in the city. If somebody's got something to sell, he's got to sell it, and he can't do it in dangerous territory. And news has reached you through the grapevine that Frankie was brought in for questioning and that he's going to need a pickup. And the 4 of you were the closest, so you're the first to respond. And so you stand now outside of this safe house. You don't see any visible guards except for 2 very unconvincing plainclothes detectives that you know are on the take. They're part of those 10th tier 10th tier people who, your boss bribes them all the time. So you know that if you just mention Nappert's orders to them, head detective Nappert, that they should get out of your way. But what's inside the safe house, nobody knows. Tell me about the four of you and how you're going to handle this approach. You've worked together for ages, and again, don't forget you have those 15 XP, so feel free to spend them liberally as you need for this scene.
Well, they got the boss in there. What are we going to do? We're going to just take the front door? We're going to try to find the back door? What are you thinking?
I said, I can't hear. Yay, take that thing off your mouth. I can't hear you.
Oh,
I'm sorry. Yeah, I like chewing. I'm sorry. I was just saying if we could just get our hands on one of them. You know how good I am with the rope. I can tie him up real good.
I think we just head in. We tell him that we about the orders that Nappert sent.
We just walk on in there. There's guards all over the joint.
You just tell the guards that was
we don't know
Nappert's
what
orders.
we don't know what the guards are past those guards. We don't know.
Well, let's take out those guards and find out about the other guards.
All right.
Do I get to tie him up? I want to tie him up. Please tell me I get to tie him up.
Yeah,
You get to tie him up.
You can tie him up. I'll grapple him first, and then you can tie him up.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm gonna get behind him. I'm gonna choke him. God, I love wrapping my big arms around a man's neck, holding him tight.
I'm
I've been
gonna
taking
just
too many martial arts classes again.
tie all his limbs up together. He won't be able to move an inch.
Yeah, let's do it. We
I
ready
can
to
talk.
head up?
I can talk to
let's
him
go.
and distract him. Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, get in there to distract him. We'll grapple him. What you gonna do? I'm sorry. Can we just say our names again? I know I haven't worked with this team for a minute. Can we just say our names real quick? I just want to make sure we're on the same page.
I'm Gregory.
I'm Greg.
I'm Grog.
Come on, fellas. You know it's me. It's Keith. It's me, Keith.
Keith, Greg, Gregory, Greg, Grog, and Keith.
Yeah.
All right. So the plan is Gregory distracts him. Me and Keith go in there and grapple him at some point. Grog, where do you want to be in this play?
I'm gonna be punching him too.
You want to be? All right. We're gonna grapple him. I'm gonna grapple. Keith's gonna tie him up. Then you punch the hell out of him for information.
Yeah.
All right,
That's how
let's
it
do
always
it.
goes.
Let's do it. Let's do
It's
it.
never
Let's go.
failed
Let's
us.
go.
Hey, you fellas over there.
Huh? What? Yes? What do you guys? Hey, you don't want to be you don't want to come up here. I know it looks. This isn't what it looks like. You guys don't want none of this.
You fellas want to play? You want to play a game?
And Gregory will just pull out, if I need to spend XP, that's fine. He'll just pull out a poker set. He's got
Great,
like
yep,
a
1
case
XP.
with a poker set.
You guys want to play a game? I've been bringing this around. But we're trying to find some playing partners.
You guys look like hustlers to me. I don't want none of this. You guys just keep on walking. Keep on walking.
You guys, it's just me around here. I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm gonna roll stealth. I'm stealthing. I trained in it. I just took a thing to be trained in it.
Specialized in it. Great. You succeed with your specialization. Easy. You're stealth.
Okay. Good, because I rolled great.
What are you doing?
Come on, Frank. We gotta get him from behind.
You get left, I get right. I'm also
All right.
stealthed. I'm hiding in the back.
Okay, great. The two of you are sneaking up on him. They're distracted by Gregory.
Come on, guys.
Greg and Keith. The two of you attack these two plainclothes detectives.
I got my rope. Rope him down.
Get behind. I got this one locked and tight. I am a rope myself as a man.
Interrogate him, Grog. Hit him. He's tied up.
Okay,
I'm
you
gonna-
got him
I'm gonna
tied up.
punch the
These
one
two
tied.
detectives are tied up. You're beating them up. Is there any goal beyond beat them up, or are you just gonna beat them up until they're senseless?
We're getting information.
Tell us what you know.
About what?
What's in the safe
inside
house?
there?
The safe. You're not supposed to know about the safe house. There's nothing in there. No one's here right now. We're just watching it.
Hit him again.
Hit him again.
Hit him again,
Keep
Grog.
hitting him.
Need I remind you about Nappert's orders?
We got some criminals in there, okay? It's an interrogation. They're trying to keep it off book.
trying to keep it off book, huh? Well, we're about to be on those books.
Yeah, we're gonna keep these boys off the books. How do we gag them?
The door is open to you. What you doing?
Let's go, guys.
Do you guys want to take their clothes and like pretend to be guards?
Oh yeah, I like that. That's a good idea.
There's
right
only
there.
2 though.
That's only 2. That's
Well, 2 of us gotta hide. I'm good at hiding. I just demonstrated that.
I'm good at talking.
What size uniforms are these?
Fitting.
Okay.
I'm good at talking, so I'll put on one of the uniforms.
All right.
Right. Yeah, Keith and Gregory, I think you guys get on the uniforms, and then Grog and I'll stay in the back and be waiting to pounce.
Yeah. Wait till they get a fistful of fist.
Yeah. All right. I put on the uniform.
They're gonna get a real mouthful of grog, if you know what I mean.
That's right. And rope. Don't forget the rope. I'm gonna tie him up.
All right. Let's casually walk on in there. Tell them we got nothing to report.
All right.
The old rickety door swings in. Inside, there are 2 more plainclothes detectives who are just kind of leaning against a wall, just talking, just chatting. You know, the door swings open. They don't even look up. They're like, oh, our guys wouldn't even come in here unless something was going on. They're just talking to each other.
Yeah, it's regular business. We're just talking about regular business out there.
One of them looks over and goes, that's not the right voice. Who are you?
I want to spend. Can I spend XP for me and Grog to have guns?
Sure. 2 XP each. You have guns. Short-term benefits because you can use them beyond just this one action.
Blast
put him
Grog!
You glass shatters as you shoot one of their mugs. I don't have gunshots. You just shoot some stone. I should have a gunshot. Oh well. So you blast them. Dead. Boom. Out of the way. Killed him. As the noise erupts through the building and everything goes to chaos back in the interrogation room, that single candle swinging back and forth, Frankie pulls down his hat and he grins, stands up and kind of dusts off his shoulders. And as the detective interrogating him and Chasm Jasper kind of watch stone cold, he walks out with his 4 escorts. And he says, see you soon, boo. And you know what that means? It means it's story time at the Wing Badger Tavern, and we will be right back.
Oh, hell yeah. What the hell is this?
The world of Urda has regressed, Jasper. Whatever else happened 100 years ago, magic is wild now, and that's dangerous for everyone.
Grog has had a little too much grog
the
tonight.
Guardians of the world of Urda will see a conquest no matter what I say. But we can't control a mercenary company. Okay, what are you proposing?
Am I supposed to look at the camera?
Just did a spit take all over my
I don't
outfit.
understand these things.
If you're doing something wrong, I'm gonna find you.
You're not going to be in sync because it's
And then
lagging to
he
you
just
and then lagging
tends to
back to
fall
me
over
when you
and
say
goes,
it.
Ow! I have been injured.
You hear him say "King me." As
Ruining
he
our
throws
intro
down a
sequence
full
is a
house
time-honored
on the
tradition
table.
of this
It was pretty
channel, so
cool,
this
but
is fine.
One time someone saw a kid.
We're usually muted. Can we be heard right now?
You're never muted.
We're never muted.
We're just going to leave it to you like this.
Oh no!
Don't look at me! I thought, no.
I've just been lightly chuckling over the intro every week, and everyone's heard. The audience knows. Oh no! Everyone else must be super quiet. I just thought, well, I can't hear anybody. I guess they're all just muted.
Welcome back to the Wing Badger Tavern where friends tell stories. I'm joined by
Hi, I'm Jake. I play Willard Taffy. Before Mike got here, I was the one who used to destroy the intro sequence. But now Mike carries on that time-honored tradition. Willard Taffy's a mole, and he has knives. On to you, Mike.
I'm Greg. I'm trained in grappling. And I got a gun, and I'm not afraid to use it.
You're not anymore.
Oh my god. Armis Thrup, what's it say on the thing? Sapiter who works in the back alleys. I don't got my papers today. This is Trevor.
Mike, you should voice the rest of us from now on. If it cuts to Trevor, you say, "Hi, that's Trevor. He plays Davroid."
I'm Trevor, as you heard. I play Davroid. He's a dwarf who separates mind from body.
I know that guy. I know this lady. Look at that.
I'm a rock man, and I did things I fucked up, and now I'm here, and I'm not Keith anymore. I don't like to tie people up anymore. I was gonna throw his throwing star, and he wouldn't let me because time ran out.
I keep trying to get it
That's
back, and then
Josh.
one of you continues the bit again, and then I lose it another time.
Do we all want to say what Josh does?
I'm
He's
Josh. I play
Josh.
everybody else. Okay, without further ado, let's get back into tonight's Dungeons. It's not Dungeons and Dragons. It's the Cypher system, but we're going to play at the Wing Venture Tavern Arcade's gameplay time. Gameplay time is going to begin with Willard Taffy. Willard, you poke your little mole nose above the surface of the lake. You get to the air just in time to... it's like you weren't quite blacked out, but like the world was getting fuzzy, you know? You are surrounded by mist on all sides. You cannot see any of your friends or companions back on the lake shore. It's just like mist and water. How is Willard feeling in this moment? What does he do?
Davroid, Armis. He calls out, and he's treading water with his little mole limbs. He's small and light, but also he doesn't have long limbs to like keep him afloat very well. So he kind of is treading water pretty quickly. He's not used to the water all that much. Like he's not scared of the water or like bad at swimming, but this is, he doesn't try to be in the water. He's more experienced at fishing from the shore. So he's wanting to find that shore, see if he can hear his buddies calling out to him.
I'm gonna threaten you with a GM intrusion. You can spend 1 XP to refuse.
Okay.
As you open your mouth to shout, instead of being able to yell to your friends, you like dip a little bit into the water and like cough a little bit on some water. Take 1 point of might damage and do not call out to your friends this round.
I'm going to spend an XP to refuse.
All right. Davroid and Armis on the shore. You hear Willard's voice ring out clear and true. As he yells to you. He's somewhere out there in the mist. You heard the little as he broke the surface of the lake, and then you hear him
Armis,
yelling to you.
I think we tie like some flotation thing to the rod and we cast it out to him.
I might still have some sort of connection to my fish guy. And I put my hands, all 4 of my hands to my temple, and I try and summon my fish friend back.
Great. The fish does come back to you.
To search for Willard.
As a reminder for those who might be joining us tonight for the first time, in the last session, Armis used a cipher to summon a spirit animal that's around for 3 minutes, and it has not been the full 3 minutes. So the spirit animal does come back to you. You can't see or sense through its senses, but you are able to like summon it, and it's gonna, obey you and whatnot.
Go to where Willard sounds is and bring him back here. We need to know what's going on.
It immediately its tail kind of swoosh as it gets back under the water and it zooms out there. Davroid, are you doing anything else?
Davroid will just let that happen.
Okay. Willard Taffy, you are in the center of the lake when you feel something quick and swift brush against your leg. What does Willard do?
Willard will try to dip his head underwater to see what that is and like kind of kick out a little bit to see if he can fend anything off.
Great. You kick out, and for the briefest second, you feel a surface, and then your leg kind of phases through it, and then you recognize the glow of the little spirit swordfish thing that Armis had summoned, and it kind of surfaces next to you. Like I said, it's like semi-corporeal, where like you can touch it and it will like drag you, but if you squeeze too hard, you'll phase through again. Kind of like hanging onto like a gel or a mist. but it is able to kind of slowly take you back towards where Armis is.
When it comes to Willard grabbing onto the fish, he's very hesitant at first. He's, it's either magic or death. And then he like slowly puts his paws out and, it'll take him back.
Excellent. As it's moving him towards the shore, Armis, again, you can't see or sense what the fish is experiencing, but you get kind of a wave of reassurance back along your mental link to this creature that like it's attempting to do the task you sent it to do. Are you and Davroid going to do anything else on the shore while you wait for Willard to arrive?
Davroid, the fish is coming back. I think it's success.
That's good.
That is good. I guess we just wait to see what happens when he gets back. I don't know how much longer this fish is going to be around, but I hope a while.
Yeah, we'll just wait.
Speaking of waiting to see what happens, in a different place, in a different time, Frode, the last thing you remember is that you were letting your weight essentially just sink you to the base of the lake. You had kind of lined yourself up so that your right toe was going to touch the glowing stone at the base of the water, and then you had this moment where like everything kind of went white and everything went black, and then you realize, oh no, my eyes are just shut, and you open your eyes and you are surrounded by cloud. You're standing on cloud. The walls are cloud. Everything is cloud. White, fluffy cloud, not gray, rainy cloud like what you saw over the lake, but like friendly, fluffy cloud. You appear to be in, as you kind of look around a little bit more, maybe some kind of wine cellar. I see you miming, like poking it. You poke the walls, and they are soft to the touch, like cotton candy, and yet solid enough that, like, you can. It's kind of springy, like walking on a moon bounce. But they're sort of all pulled. It's all real. It's corporeal. And you're kind of standing on it. There are racks and racks, all crafted out of cloud. Some are thinner, denser, for like support structures, and then these kind of wispy cirrus clouds kind of tie it all together. And then there are like real bottles of wine and stuff, not made of cloud, but like actual different like wine bottles and different drinks. There's a barrel of ale down here. There's all kinds of things. What is Frode doing?
Frode just casually picks up one, and he doesn't have pockets, so I guess he's holding on to one now, and
okay, just holding it.
It's gonna be a conversation starter for later.
Does he take a wine bottle or like the barrel of ale?
Oh, just a wine bottle.
Great.
He wouldn't be that presumptuous.
Okay.
So Frode's just like, all right, well, here I am, and he's picked up a glass of wine, and he's gonna try to find an exit.
You actually don't see any glasses, just the bottle. But you do find, as you're looking for an exit, you look in a place you're sure you've looked before, but now there are stairs there, made of cloud. And you kind of step up the stairs. They kind of ring it's a square room, but they, kind of go around the circumference of the room and kind of upwards. And you go up 3 or 4 stories before you finally reach the door. Just kind of a slow, methodical walk. No windows, nothing to look out of. There's also no visible source of light. And yet you can see pretty well. It's like medium bright, sort of the kind of light you'd expect from maybe several torches in a house. But all this kind of just flat whitish color. You finally reach a nice wooden oak door with a door handle in it that appears to lead out of this little wine cellar.
Frode stares at it, questionably, thinks, and after some thought, knocks on it. Stares suspiciously at it.
The sound echoes into what must be a massive room beyond. You do not hear any reply, although you think, as you kind of lean towards the door, listening for some kind of sound to come through, you think you hear maybe the crackle of a merry fire.
Well, Frode gives it some more thought, and he opens the door.
You open the door.
To.
In front of you is a massive, it almost looks like a bake shop, where there's like a big wooden table. There are a couple of brick ovens that are like fire baking. different, there's like breads and pies and things all being baked along one wall. The fire you were hearing crackling merrily is coming from these ovens. And you also see that sitting on the other end of the room and right next to one of the ovens, kind of leaning in to check if something is done baking, that's why they didn't hear you knock, is a human clad in what looks like a sort of lightweight rain jacket and kind of traveling trousers, and leaning in. He's just looking at it. You can see he's got a couple of different like pouches on his belt. You see a little spool of some kind of thread that's like clipped to one side of his pants, but he's leaning in, looking towards it. He's got a little bake cloth kind of, over one arm as he leans in, and he's kind of checking, and he sits back and goes, "Not done quite yet." And he sits back down. He's just watching. He hasn't noticed you enter the room yet.
Excuse me, sir.
Oh, hello.
I appear to have woken up in your cellar.
Ah, yes. You must be a new hire. Let's take you to see the boss. Come with me.
I have this. Is that okay?
You have what?
I have this bottle of wine. Is that I accidentally brought it up?
Were you given permission to have any of the wine?
I didn't drink it. I brought it up because I figured, I felt bad being in your cellar, so it was gonna be like a weird oopsie daisy. I woke up in your cellar gift, but it's your own wine.
I think it would probably be best if you put that back, actually. She doesn't quite like it when her possessions are disturbed.
Oh, I'll go put that back properly then.
No problem. When you're ready, just come on back and I'll take you to meet her.
All right.
And you head back down to do that. When you come back up the stairs, you see that he's taken that kind of thick baking cloth from his arm and he's used it to scoop out what appears to be a perfectly cooked pie. And he's set it down on the table there to cool. He puts some nice little slits in it with, at first it looked like a knife, but then you realize it's a little fishing hook that he's using in place of a knife to put the little slits in there. And then he turns back and he says, "I believe the rolls have some more time. Let's go this way." And he takes you to the next room. And so as you leave this large bake room, you're just kind of following in his footsteps. Floor still made of cloud, walls still made of cloud, no windows, nice even lighting everywhere. He takes you...
Sir,
yes?
I just have to say, as we're walking, I'm not really built for baking, look at my hands.
Oh, there are plenty of functions about the house that can be done. And he leads you into the next room. And as you keep moving, you get the sense that, this is actually like, it's a house. Like this is a residence. It's just really large and ornate and also, I guess, made of clouds. He leads you from this bake shop into, there's just a large ornate, it's a bath the way the Romans had baths, where it's like a huge pool at the bottom of several steps, and there's like fountains at the edges of it, and there's like nice tapestries hanging on the walls. As you look at the tapestries, you see different artistic depictions of all over Urada, all these different places, big cities, big things. In fact, you see one that you think might be Stainless, like the city of Stainless from before it collapsed in on itself during the darkening. You continue walking. He leads you into it. The man in front of you doesn't even acknowledge this. He does acknowledge two other waitstaff who are on either end of the bath, and each of them is holding like a robe in case someone wanted to come in and bathe. And as they come by, they just bow respectfully to you. They don't say anything as you walk by. Both of them appear to be similarly dressed to the man leading you now. So they've got kind of like utility pants on and kind of a lightweight raincoat. They have kind of a semblance of fishing gear around their person. But now they are, in addition, carrying a couple of the different tools of their, I guess, new craft, for lack of a better phrase. You're led from...
Sir?
Yes?
I don't mean to bother, but what makes you think I'm a new hire?
Well, surely everyone who comes here is a new hire, are you not? Are you really lost? Are you just looking for your way?
Signing an employee contract, and
Well, no, of course you haven't signed any paperwork yet. It'd be very irresponsible of you to sign without reading it first.
And also, I'm actually here as I'm on a job, really. I'm already employed, you could say, but...
Oh, are you a repairman? We have a leak. Are you here to repair it?
Of a private investigator.
Oh. Well,
But I am a handyman, so
Protocol
I'll take a
doesn't-
look at the leak.
yeah,
and maybe
protocol
I will
doesn't
be able
really
to
say
fix
what
it.
to do with an investigator. I think I'd best still take you to the boss.
I mean, that's good enough. I just was trying to figure out how's your normal hiring process?
Oh, I'm sure it all gets sorted out. You'll have to. I mean, every situation is unique, and he leads you through the next room, which is it's like a foyer is the wrong word because a foyer implies that it is small and is meant to lead into the next space. This is like a grand atrium, but if a house had one. So at the other end is just the beginning of a staircase and then another door that leads into like a dining room or something. But it's like a big pillars of marble and, big hanging like paintings that are framed. You can see suspended from the ceiling in kind of a place of prominence, there is a massive dream catcher, like this big kind of wood frame with the net and the beads and the ornaments hanging off of it. You kind of walk through this room. As you walk beneath the dream catcher, the tassels almost brush against the top of your head, but not quite. You head into the next room, and you don't go up the stairs. Instead, you kind of take the door beyond the stairway, and it leads you into a library, which is just stocked, hugely stocked. This library is this big circular room, floor to ceiling books, probably 30 feet tall, floor to ceiling books. There is a small little like wooden ladder, that kind of slides along to the different shelves to help you climb up to reach higher books or lower books or whatever. None of the books have any titles or markings on them except for an artistic rendering of a creature, and every creature is unique. That has been rendered on each of the books. And at the center of the room, there is a young-ish woman, humanoid, light skin with freckles. She has like platinum blonde hair, and she has sort of like maybe like a toga, but sort of cloud infused, like little wisps of cirrus cloud kind of woven together to make the fabric. And there's like a subtle golden glow underneath her skin that kind of radiates outwards from her. And I don't mean the way that like a L'Oreal commercial says that you'll have like a glow in your skin. I mean like a literal pulsing amber that kind of radiates outwards from where she's sitting. And she looks up and says, "Oh, hello. Who are you?"
Now, Frode generally has been running off of a high since the moment he's entered.
Mm-hmm.
From the moment he's come to Hembley Who,
Yeah.
he's been thinking, this is his opportunity. Remove his curse. Get another curse. Solve his problems. But from the moment he's woken up in this cellar, it's been itching him. And now, as he walks down the hall, he's grown ever more silent and more nervous and on edge.
Mm-hmm.
And upon seeing this woman, his heart skips a beat. He finds himself perhaps in a familiar place. Maybe not in location, but in situation.
Why don't
Does
you
not like
roll
it.
a difficulty 5 intellect task?
I'm gonna go ahead and just take an effort.
Okay. The target roll goes from 15 down to 12 as you ease it to a difficulty 4 task.
It's a 5.
You can spend an XP to reroll.
I will spend an XP roll.
Cool.
Come on. 19.
19. That is a success with a minor effect. If you're okay with it, I'll pitch you the minor effect this time around.
Sure.
The minor effect will be that I will permanently lift some of the memory veil instead of confining it to while you're in this space for Frode.
Ooh. I'll take that.
Okay. As you stand in this library of circular shape in front of this woman, Frode notices a few things. First, there's a familiar smell, just a hint of it in the air. A smell of lilacs and daisies and flowers kind of mixed together with maybe the smell of fresh rain and just a hint of the sound of dusk, the bugs beginning to chirp, and kind of that nature beginning to appear. The brief reminder in those kind of glowing freckles of fireflies emerging in the night, and you are reminded of a dusky clearing where a much younger Frode approached a gathering of creatures, and one of them, a creature with a marvelous top hat, which he takes off and sets down beside him as he sweeps into a brave court bow, says, "Will you join us for tea, sir?" And an eager Frode says,
Why, of course.
and he steps towards the circle to join them for tea. And as he steps over to the circle, oh no, did he step on that creature's hat? Boom! And then you flash back to the moment you're in. And in front of you, a second layer of revealing here. This is what you saw through just for succeeding on the check. You see sitting in front of you, you still see the girl who's sitting there with the glowing skin, but you also see kind of superimposed, half opaque over top of her, the form of an ancient moonstone dragon towering above you. A creature huge in magnificence, green fur kind of lining her belly, huge sharp wings that kind of point upwards like bats that are furled over her back as she looks towards you. And while the girl in front of you is holding 2 crochet hooks and a little ball of yarn, the massive dragon has a huge ball of string just like clutched in its teeth as it looks towards you. And it's like kind of batting at it playfully with its 2 front legs. And she says, "Hello, what's your name?"
Frode makes severe, concentrated effort to not look up.
Okay. My eyes are down here.
Yes. Instead, it looks at the illusion. Hello. I appear to have woken up in your wine cellar. I do apologize for the intrusion.
Were you partying last night? A late night party can do that.
We did have a 6-pack, and one of our fellows was throwing up in the alley shortly after, but it was not last night.
Oh.
But I have to ask, where did you get all these fine staff? You know, I tend to be short on such staff, and they seem very well mannered.
Oh, they're so willing. They seem to be appearing. They just come up and introduce themselves to me, and I'm like, well, I'd be happy to hire you.
Let me guess. They introduce themselves. You introduce yourself. It all goes from there.
You are a clever one. Something like that. It's not so much of an introduction as a giving of names, if you will.
A trade. A negotiation, perhaps.
Well, it could be if they ever thought to ask for something in return.
All right.
As you're talking to her, you see her glance wistfully at a single book. Out of all of the books in this area, there is one book that it has like the faint outline of an orc, but it's all weathered and scratched out. And she has kind of like a wistful, the one that got away look as she kind of gazes up at it. She looks back at you for you to continue talking.
I see you've done quite a good job for yourself here. I do love what you've done with the place.
Oh, yes. Well, I mean, if one is to have a house, one may as well make it nice.
That's fair. Now, I do have to ask, perhaps I'm more impressed on how you have a front door in the shape of a stone at the bottom of a lake. See, I always thought about putting my doorways in like little clearings, maybe in a circle, perhaps a fungus. But never have I ever thought of putting it on a stone at the bottom of the lake. That is creativity.
You ask a lot of questions for someone who's given me nothing in return.
That wasn't a question. I was just impressed.
Oh. Well, you can be impressed in my majesty. I am fantastic, and all that I do is a wonder.
Now, is there anything I could perhaps offer you, and perhaps if in return I could have some of these fine staff? Like I said, I find myself short-staffed, and they are quite agreeable, if I do say so myself.
Well, once you train them well enough to do the job, they are quite lovely. And one of them at that moment bustles in kind of like a butler's suit and outfit, but it's clearly thrown on over top of his fishing clothes, so it's like tuxedo on top of rain jacket. And he comes in with a tray in one hand that's got some little pastries and things laden on it. He walks over and sets the tray down. The smell of it is like so appetizing to Frode. And she picks up a roll and she says, "Would you like a roll?"
I would perhaps like one, but I won't take one.
I respect that restraint. For that, I'll give you one for free.
I appreciate it.
She hands you a book.
Frode takes the book.
One of the fishermen immediately runs up to your side and says, "Are you my boss now?"
It appears so.
What'll you have me do, sir? What's your name?
Well, for the time being, you may sit at my side.
Is that your name or what you'd like me to do?
It's what I would like you to do.
Oh, okay. And he just sits down next to you, cross-legged, happy as a clam.
You know, I've been in a very familiar situation upon such as this.
I can see the hallmarks.
And I won't say, I should say, rather.
It is best to say if you wish to communicate.
That I'm quite nervous. For the last time I spoke between myself and someone of your stature, though I'm sure much lower, it did not go well. Though, of course, I was young and naive back then.
And what are you now?
Well, I would like to think I'm just a little bit wiser these days. And I'd like to think also I find myself in a predicament where the fate of many souls rest upon my wits. It is not an envious position. Now, I've been tasked with a particular objective. Are you interested in perhaps of hearing it?
By all means, continue sharing.
Oh, that one wouldn't be for free now necessarily.
Roll a task and justify the skill you want to use to convince her to continue. Or the ability score, that you want to lean into.
This is a wit.
So it's got to be his intellect then.
It's gotta be his intellect.
Okay.
It's his weakest. He's very sharp, but it dulls very quickly.
So far, you've impressed her by passing a couple of tests, which is going to work in your favor. I'm not going to tell you the DC, but it has eased it by 2 steps. And you've also done a good job of catering to her pride. You were like, yeah, someone cursed me, but like lower stature, so that's going to help you a little bit too. So you've got a lot working in your favor here to make this possibly achievable.
I would like to spend 3 XP
Ooh.
to be trained in Fey negotiations.
Yeah, that makes sense. You've got prior experience with them and you just unearthed the memory. That's definitely a skill unlock that makes sense for Frode. As the memory clicks into place, even if Frode doesn't remember exactly how it turned out, you begin to remember what it's like to barter with Fey creatures. which he's been trying to remember this whole campaign from the very first session when he tried to trade information with Willard Taffy relating to his tea. So yeah, that's a great skill for Frode the Forsaken.
Well, I guess I will roll.
Great. Effectively a plus 12 to this roll after all of the easing that you've applied.
Well, I guess haven't said this in quite a while because the cipher system doesn't lend it to it, but a non-nat 20.
Ooh. With a non-nat 20, you have my interest. Tell me about it. You said you wanted to bargain for something. What are we bargaining for?
How about another one of these fine books? They look like good reads.
I am getting used to having lots of help about the place, but one more can't hurt. She pulls another book off of the shelf and puts it on the table, kind of signifying like the deal is binding. Very well, what's this task?
Well, I've been tasked with uncovering and perhaps even helping the wild magics, according to mortal men, running amok upon their land. Now, I've been given this task by someone of powerful stature for the mortal realm. Someone who doesn't want their name attached to mine. I've told you my task, but are you perhaps a little curious upon who gave us this task?
I do love to watch the machinations of mortals. Let's see. What can I offer you?
And they've been busy.
I know what to offer you. She snaps her fingers and another butler comes in with specifically the bottle of wine you had picked up from the wine cellar, and she puts it on the table. She tilts her head one way, the true form of her dragon tilts its head the other way as they look towards you.
I don't want to presume, but the previous item on the table has been dealt.
Yes.
I just want to make sure we're not adding a pawn.
No, we are making a new deal.
Okay. All right. Frode takes the new book.
Great. As Frode takes the new book, the servant who brought in the wine bottle comes over to Frode and says, "Hello, sir. What can I do for you? What's your name?"
Well, you may join me right here.
Is that your name or what you'd like me to do?
It's what I would like you to do.
Very well, sir. And he walks over and he kind of like puts his hands on the shoulder of the guy who's sitting cross-legged next to you, still just like happy as a clam, and just starts massaging his shoulders.
With that, a happy sight. Now, this is a very important person and someone who I've been told must never know of this connection, so I don't think I can just trade one bottle of wine for this knowledge. I am throwing my life in jeopardy by telling you this information.
You see that a little indication on her face that perhaps the negotiations have taken a turn that she doesn't like. You get the sense that perhaps you've insulted her in some way.
To be fair, I've made a promise, and it's not just my life upon the line, but 3 others. And I think...
And you think that these mortal lives are worth more than wine brewed by a moonstone dragon over the course of centuries?
Oh, I'm sorry if that's what you were thinking.
Yeah.
No. This information is worth souls, and I think this thing right here is worth much more. That's all I said to say.
Well, this is only a piece of a quest, and in exchange for the full value of the quest's task, you accepted a singular soul. Now, if you were to give me a little more, I could be persuaded. Perhaps not just the identity of the person giving you this task, but maybe a name?
Now that's a good flirt, but that ain't that easy now.
Oh, I think
know-
ease will have very little to do with it.
Now, I will say I was very tempted when I woke up in your wine cellar by this. Something I think I would never be able to see again. But I came here with a very particular, specific task related to what I've told you. And so sadly, I do not think I can negotiate for a bottle of your wine, no matter how precious.
That is a shame.
I've already made a deal to do otherwise, though it pains me.
A deal with whom?
Well, deal with that person we're negotiating over you learning about.
She kind of sits back and thinks a little bit, and as she does, we cut from here back to Willard Taffy, who has just been led to the bank of the lake. Willard Taffy, you can see kind of materializing out of the mist in front of you, the worried faces of Davroid and Armis, as you painfully slowly to you. It's probably not that slow, but feels like every second is an hour kind of thing as this swordfish gets you to the edge of the lake, and then the swordfish kind of fizzles out the last 2 feet. So you have to swim like the last 2 feet to get yourself ashore.
He, splashes his way to the shore. Frode's at the lake bot. There's a glowing stone. Frode, the fish saved the magic fish. The magic fish. And he kind of turns around and is staring back at the water. The magic fish.
That was Armis's magic fish.
The Frode's at the bottom. There's a glowing stone or something, and Frode's there.
Frode's at the bottom of the lake.
Yes, I couldn't. I was going to drown.
Armis, you would remember from the previous water-related thing that he doesn't need to breathe, so he wouldn't.
Yeah.
He's not in danger of drowning. Okay.
Obviously, but that's how the hell are we gonna get him out of there?
I don't know. I mean, it's somewhat deep. I just need to get a better breath. I think I could at least go and check to see where he is. I'm not sure if I could pick him up or anything.
Well, we could try and...
As you're having this conversation, there is a chat-related rumble in the ground as things begin getting a little bit shaky, maybe the beginnings of an earthquake of some kind, and then the ground... have you seen the old Bugs Bunny cartoons where he digs underground and there's a little well of stuff that he leaves behind, a little tunnel that pops out of the ground?
Yeah.
So it's like that, except it's a snake, and it rears out of the ground, this little dirt snake thing.
Oh my
little.
God,
it's pretty big.
please!
This dirt snake thing rears out of the ground and it just lashes out and tries to bite Davroid. Davroid, make a speed defense roll with a difficulty level of 3.
Yeah, I'm going to spend 1 level of effort.
Great.
2.
Dropping it to a difficulty 2 task with a target roll of 6.
I got an 8.
You got an 8.
Nice.
That's a success. Davroid, describe the dodge as you get out of the way of this kind of this dirt serpent.
So Davroid, anxiously over Willard, listening to Willard, taking notes, sees this, and his just keen observation can see the snake and know how it's going to strike, and he quickly jumps and rolls out of danger.
Perfect. So Davroid dive rolls out of the way, the snake kind of striking between him and Armis, where Davroid was. Armis and Willard, you each also have a move at this stage before the snake will take another turn.
Oh my god, I hate this shit. Armis is going to, with a bit of a wobble before he does it, try and leap up at, if the snake is still kind of nearby where he just tried to bite at Davroid, leap onto its head and try to gunk in his mouth.
Why you gotta say it like that, man?
It's my belly
Try to
gunk.
fill its mouth with web. That's how you could say it, and it would be
That's
fine.
not even better. That's
You're
not
trying
even
to-
better.
It's better than gunk in its mouth.
Yeah, that's right. I shoot
Roll
my
your
sticky-
attack. Roll
Get
your
the old
attack.
web shooter right up in its face.
It's a difficulty 3 hindered by 1 because you're trying to like grapple it essentially and like position yourself at the same time. So difficulty 4, and you can use might or speed for this attack, but it will be a difficulty 4 target roll of 12.
All right, I will use my speed. Nat 20, baby!
Nat 20!
Let's
If you spend
go.
10 points, you get them back, and you get a major effect in addition to. So you create the situation you wanted, which is that it cannot bite. You've like kind of restricted its mouth movement. What else are you doing?
I gunk so much in its throat that it like seizes up and like gets stiff. And, like,
Okay,
it
yeah.
can't-
You like paralyze it in place.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
Okay.
So this thing essentially flinches for a round. So each of you is going to get 2 attacks, including Armis, who will get 1 more, but you don't have to do them in any specific order. So Willard, Armis, and Davroid, all of you have 2 attacks. Armis has spent 1.
Willard is going to attempt to. It's made of dirt. Is that correct?
Yes.
Willard is going to attempt to dig into the snake to try to find whatever cipher is at the center of it.
Oh, that's dope. Willard, you kind of dive in, dig through all the stone or the dirt, and eventually at kind of towards the center of it, you do see sort of like a glowing, pulsing orb-looking thing. However, even though the creature can't attack and is kind of frozen in place, it starts to kind of buck and try to resist
Okay.
you. I will need you to make a roll, a speed roll, with a difficulty of 3, because that's the creature's level, eased by 1 because it's paralyzed, to a difficulty 2. So target roll of 6 speed.
17 on the die.
17 is plenty.
Nice.
You easily get to the cipher, and you can decide whether you want to scoop dirt the cipher is in and pull it out of the snake, or whether you want to just absorb the cipher.
Willard, in his mind, just echoing through his head, magic fish saved me. He is going to reach out and absorb the cipher.
Let's go!
Yeah.
Armis Thrupp, roll a d20.
15.
15. Jake, roll a d6.
Okay. Got a 6.
Great. You have a level 6 breath freshening cipher that eases persuasion tasks by 6 steps once.
Oh, yeah.
This, I believe, was Armis's idea. And of all the ones that are on here, I cannot believe that it's the next one that you have summoned. And I also have no idea how it's linked to this earth snake. Maybe the snake had great breath. But the snake has been pacified, and the situation is once again calm as you all are sitting there. The dust and smoke is settling, the mist rolling over you. What is the group doing next?
No, I was just gonna say Armis throws up first and foremost.
Oh my god, I got bucked around pretty good.
There,
Willard
buddy.
will like
let it out.
crawl out of the dirt mound that I assume kind of formed when the snake deformed, and kind of stand up, and like Willard looks bewildered, but not at what just happened, like almost like bewildered at himself. Like he's just kind of looking at his hands.
There's like
in
that
his claws.
tattoo on his forearm that he's kind of staring at.
And he just kind of is like,
So
Frode, we need to get to Frode.
I might have a way to do that.
Oh. Do tell.
I still have the quantum tunneling cipher I got a while ago.
Ooh.
So I can get us there, but I won't be able to get us back.
Swimming up is easier than swimming down, I think.
But I don't know exactly where it is, so you'll have to can you get me there?
Willard, you're pretty
Or
confident that
point me
you
in the
could
direction.
at least, the center is in this direction. You could get close enough for government work.
I
Are we-
can give you the general spot.
Are we just going in blind? Because that's all we have.
Well, we should take a deep breath, but otherwise, I think so.
All right. We're agreed?
Armis?
Yeah, we're good. No, let's do it, baby.
All right.
Can I propose something really silly? But
Yeah.
another. since you hate spiders and how they can't make doors out of their webs, you might not like this, but can I say that I can like capture like a teeny bit of like an air bubble by making some web masks?
Spider-Man does that in the comic books. I think that's totally doable.
I think that would be a great player intrusion to manifest an immediate use, a different use of an ability you already have that only works like the one time. Alternatively, you could spend 3 XP to gain the ability to do this on command, but how often is it going to be relevant? We don't know. So that's your call.
I'll pay any amount of money for for gunk masks.
Gunk masks.
Put these on. Here, everyone bend down by my belly. Willard, you stay down there. I'll be done in a minute. I'm so sorry.
No, you're not.
No, it's really fun. Guys, I maybe this is the booze talking, but I think I can do some. I just got a great idea. I'm just gonna.
Let's make it fast.
Okay, as the gang negotiates this, which I'm sure is funny, we're going to cut back to Frode the Forsaken in an attempt to keep the session moving. Frode the Forsaken, you are sitting there with Andromeda the Silver Star. You have told her that you do not feel a bottle of wine is worth it for you to tell her who is giving the orders of your plan. She is sitting there mulling over what you've... Oh, yeah?
I did make sure to specify it was more I had promised to trade other things, and that I just could not. Could go against the deal I've already made.
Then let's make a different sort of trade. You tell me about whatever this is. And she's kind of motioning all, like, just generally towards you and the way that you are a golem. How'd you get this way?
Now, you know, personal things such as names and history carry much value. So I think you're probably talking about 3 books at least.
1.
How about 2?
1.
Hard to negotiate with a dragon, isn't it?
This one.
All right.
I'll throw in a stick.
What kind of stick?
Stick. I have a big collection of sticks.
Oh, I mean, we've all collected sticks in our time and our youth, and some of them look like, shaped like spears, and we have fun in the wilds, and other ones have been touched in magical ways. So what kind of stick are we talking about?
And another of her staff comes in with an equal silver tray with the silver thing, except this time when they open it up, it's a stick inside. Except that by stick, what she means is what looks like some kind of firearm, like a long rifle of some kind. And you see sort of a blue glowing kind of like ice effect running along it, like frosted material.
All right. It's a hard bargain. And you're saying this stick ain't worth a book?
No, I'm saying I would give you 1 book and 1 stick.
But not 2 books.
No.
All right. Well, I'll take a book and the stick then, for as much as I can tell you about the way that I am.
Acceptable. And she hands you... Wait, and then she like pauses. Wait. I want the story.
Well, I'm an old man. Like I said, I will tell you to the best of my
Not your whole
ability.
story. I want the story of how you became like this. That's the deal I'm offering.
Now, I only know a few details about how it became like this, and I think what I said still stands. I'll tell you as much as I know about how it became the way I am.
Yes, how you recite it is of no consequence to me. I would like the story.
Well, there might be details missing.
Maybe in your telling.
Yes, in my telling. Are you perhaps taking the story itself
Mm-hmm.
and not my telling?
Mm-hmm.
Frode sits down for the first time. He grabs a chunk of his arm, starts meeting into it. Kind of like, you're just kind of rubbing your arm, massaging your muscle, but for him, there ain't muscle to massage. It's just rock, and it's grinding, and it's tearing, and little rocks start to fall off as he is now struggling. Is this man's life worth him losing all his progress on what he's done? No, you cut right to it, I have to say. I've spent close to many a lifetime for many other lives that aren't mine, trying to decipher the exact machinations. Sorry, my words lose me. Frode grips his arm a little rougher.
It's common around convergence points like these.
I've spent many a time trying to get every last detail I can. Because at the heart of that story you're asking for is the way that I am, and I seek to undo it. Now that's a freebie, much like the free one you offered me earlier. A free telling. But to give you that would mean I would give up on hundreds of years of progress.
Now you're negotiating on my scale.
Now, when I thought about making a deal with a book and a stick, at the time, I thought it was for knowledge. But you want more than that. And I think for that, I think we have to little renegotiate these terms.
I'm willing.
Now, I apologize because obviously at your scale, it may not seem like much, but you're asking for me to throw away my life's work.
Fair enough.
I will do that if you give me every single book in this library.
How about we meet in the middle? She waves a hand, like the illusory her waves a hand, but you see the dragon reach up and just pull one shelf to the ground. There must be 300 books that she's just pulled to the ground. And the dragon's tail sweeps around, curls around them all, and just deposits them in a huge pile on the table. I'll even leave the stick. She sticks the stick on top like you would put a stick through a sandwich.
Frode's needing both his arms now.
You have to understand, I need some staff.
All right. Am I allowed to, I guess, inspect what you have offered?
From where you're
not-
sitting.
Frode is trained in perception, something he rarely does because he's usually blindfolded.
Okay.
I would like to see if I can tell if these books look new.
Sure.
And I've rolled a 4.
You cannot tell whether they are new or old.
Now, have 300 fishermen disappeared in the lake?
You do not have the exact number of fishermen who disappeared. However, from your walking through Hembley Hoo, your vibe is that there cannot have been 300 fishermen in that village. Like, there are just better things for people to do with their time than fish in Hembley Hoo. Hembley Hoo is the dungeon delving equivalent of a beach town. Like, there's just not that many people who are actually hardworking folks. It's mostly tourists.
Sometimes you gotta get level 99 in fishing. You know?
Yeah, and a couple people did.
That's good.
Probably.
How about this? I will take... When did fishermen start disappearing?
When the cloud appeared, which was maybe a few months ago.
Okay. How about instead, I am willing to offer you a lease on this story for 1 year. And obviously that's not worth what you have put on the table. And instead, I will take perhaps maybe the books you have gained within the last 2 months.
Andromeda does not owe favors.
I didn't say it was a favor, it was a lease.
That would imply that I owed you a favor later to return it.
I guess that's one interpretation of that. Well, since
You
this is
displease me with such shady negotiations.
Oh no, it's your house, so I'll
Perhaps
go
you'd
by
like to leave with your
rules.
2 books.
Well, I would never want
If we can't
to
enter into
disrespect
negotiations in good faith, we shan't enter at all.
somebody. I don't want to disrespect anybody in their own house, and I apologize. That was never my intention.
I accept your apology.
Frode's really freaking out, and he's trying his best to keep calm. This is a deal of a lifetime, isn't it?
It's a deal of several hundred lifetimes.
Now, does this contain books from your last 2 months?
I'm
Those
sure
are
it
the
does.
ones that I find most valuable to me. I would say as long as all the books you've acquired within the last 2 months within that 300, and if you can guarantee that.
You ask a distractible girl to read an awful lot of literature here to make this deal. We may need to add something to the pot.
Would you perhaps say we sit down for a moment, table this? Maybe we just need to mull it over, each of us. Perhaps instead, I can enjoy your hospitality as much as you're willing to oblige, of course.
Hospitality. It's another word for giving something in exchange for nothing. Everybody comes here. Oh, she's the big dragon. She'll do what we need. She'll give us things. Come help us in our big war. It'll be fine. Nobody will thank you afterwards. Nobody will recognize the pivotal point you played.
You fought in a war? That's crazy. crazy impressive. I've never fought in a war.
And yet you were around. Oh, ye old creature.
I was, but I was a little lost at the time. Oh, long, long time. Say, did he give you any recognition for what you did?
Not a shred. No one ever does. They always come to, oh, you creatures can span the plains. You need not be recognized. We are merely waypoints on the journeys of adventurers.
That's a damn shame.
I am a collector. And as she says it, something about the moonstone presence emanating from her turns the room to night. And so the kind of clear white light that's been emanating from the clouds becomes a dusky blue. I have the finest collection of lives, dreams, and memoirs in the world. And I will not give something away for something of lesser value.
All right. How much value is it, perhaps, to you? This is subjective, and I wouldn't be able to comprehend it, especially if your scale. But how much value would it be if I were to perhaps share your end of that story to the world? Make sure your recognition was heard for what you've done.
You don't even know your own story.
You know
But-
how to cut.
Alternatively, if you were to give your story to me, there would be a full telling of it set down in the finest library the world has ever seen.
I'd be able to read it.
Despite what the bespectacled one thinks of his own library.
Frode kind of frowns at that with a little...
Oh, fret not. Not your time.
Oh. Of course. If I give it to you,
Mm-hmm.
would I be able to read it?
That would be a future negotiation that we would be certainly able to enter into.
All right.
After all, you've been wily enough, and canny enough to keep your own name. A story about you is still about you.
I tell you, I give you, perhaps, how I became the way I am, pertaining specifically to my ailments, and not the way I was born.
Mm-hmm.
And in return, you guarantee within this pile of books that they contain the collection of the last 2 months of books you've collected. We'll take the stick off the table.
Done. She holds out a humanoid hand to shake.
Frode hesitates, but his hand slowly reaches out. Now, will I ever be able to contact you again?
Oh, it should be as easy as coming in through the back door you found.
Well, Frode pulls his hand back. I heard you had a leak.
Yes.
Do you perhaps in need of the services of fixing a leak?
New deals after this deal. Tick-tock, my offers expire by sunrise. And you note that the dusky light is changing back towards the brighter.
All right. This is what we're going to have to do. I want to talk to you again sometime, but today, I think I've perhaps lost the reason why I came here. Perhaps became wanting a little too much. I will negotiate that I fix your leak And in exchange, I take the books that may have came through that leak.
No deal. You get the sense that like her patience is wearing thin, and this may be her last and final offer relating to the books, like the big pile of books on the table.
Can I roll to try to figure out what she might determine be the value of these 2 months of books that she'd be willing to hear, I guess. Something that I think, besides my story.
You could make a roll to try and determine that value, but you have the sense that like for this day, like she's probably not going to renegotiate or negotiate further on the books. So you could try and calculate the exact value to her, but it would be a difficult intellect-based task to try and understand the inner machinations of a dragon. That would be eased by one step for your fey negotiating. But you get the sense that this is kind of her deal.
All right. I'll have to return another day. I apologize. I do want to give you this story, but it's not done yet.
But it could be.
There are many pages left to write for that particular story, and I intend to finish those last pages. And I think it'll be a little harder.
Wouldn't you like to read the pages that came before?
I would love to, but then the story wouldn't have a satisfying ending for me specifically.
How do you know that?
Oh, at the moment, I may not know what goes before, but I know what comes after. And if I don't reach that after, then I think what came before didn't matter in the first place.
Interesting words.
I may have to apologize for I feel like I may have offended you by turning down that deal. But
As you watch the books begin suspending in midair and reinserting themselves into the shelves on the wall.
we might just have to talk another day.
We'll see.
If you're willing.
We'll see.
But I'll take my 2 books for now. And I appreciate you entertaining me so far. And I hope this was entertaining for you, though I'm sure it's might have been a little annoying. I apologize.
She snaps her fingers twice, and a butler appears at the door and says, "I'll show you out, sir."
How may I refer to you again, Moondragon?
Oh, I've told you once.
Fair enough. And Frode, like, all right, boys, follow me.
They all hop up and follow you, walking along behind you. The butler leads you not to the cellar where you entered, but instead to a square room with 4 doors. The room it's actually like a porch almost. And instead of doors, as you watch towards them, they unfurl as steps leading in 4 directions. You look back and the house is gone. You're now standing on a platform of clouds suspended in the sky. And there are 4 different staircases in front of you. As you step towards each one, you notice that the kind of gray, overcast, cloudy sky changes in different ways. As you walk towards one of them, the sky begins kind of shifting towards a blue twilight. As you walk towards another, a bloody crimson sunset. As you walk towards the third, the sun begins rising, heading towards midday. And as you walk towards the 4th, the cloud cover remains exactly the same, kind of a drab gray overcast. We cut from here back to our other heroes who have just quantum tunneled, and you are now underwater. Bubbles everywhere. You kind of come out of the quantum tunnel, and you can take that cipher off your inventory.
Yep.
As you have landed well within range of, there's just this big glowing rock there in front of you. Assuming you take any time at all to look at it, you can see that it's not as big as a boulder, so it's a little bit smaller than Frode, but it's much bigger than like a pebble or anything like that. It's probably dwarf size, so around Davroid's height. And it is just embedded into the base of the lake. You are all holding your breath and trying to decide what to do next.
If we look around, do we see Frode? There's no
You do
no
not
sign?
see Frode anywhere, and it's dark down here. It's almost difficult to see even each other, except for maybe Willard, whose eyes are pretty
Willard
adjusted.
Is the portal still open, or like?
It's just a glowing rock. There's no portal.
don't know
There's
what
just
it
a
is.
glowing rock there.
Oh, that's weird. Okay, gotcha. I would assume that we would
Can I
try
make-
to touch it. I don't know about you guys.
Can I make an Arcana roll?
That's probably good.
You could make like an intellect-related save.
Yeah. Intellect roll 1. I know a little bit about everything, and I think we said I was like trained in Arcana or like ciphers.
Yeah,
No, it's not a
identifying
cipher.
ciphers. That's fine.
Yeah.
So it would have been a difficulty of 5. You've eased it 2 steps to a difficulty of 3 with a target roll of 9.
So I'm going to use 1 level of effort.
Great. And then it's only 2 points if you wanted to add a second, as long as you're a tier 2 character.
I am a tier 2 character, and I will add that second.
Great. Now it is a
Nice.
level 1 task with a target roll of 3.
I got a 4.
You got a 4. As you look towards the glowing rock here at the base, you are able to identify, even in the dark, little wisps of cloud emanating out of it. This rock is essentially acting as it's a convergence point between this plane and the ethereal plane. It is a way into the border ethereal. You're not 100% confident that it would provide a way back, but there is some kind of consistent rupture into the border ethereal here that has been made by a creature repeatedly crossing back and forth in this location. Essentially a small tear in the material plane, almost like it's leaking ethereal clouds out, kind of hissing out on this side. You can see like little wisps of cloud, and you probably can assume that those are what are collecting above and creating this weird, malbehaved gray cloud over the lake, and maybe even all the mist.
So Davroid will get the attention of his companions. Can we see? Is there enough light from the thing to like?
There's enough light
faintly
from the
see-
thing to see each other. It's just very dim.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Davroid will get the attention of his 2 companions underwater and just start miming. Like he'll like start trying to mime like a portal. So he'll be like, and then he'll put his hand through, and then
Blub, 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 blub.
I'm gonna offer a GM intrusion to Armis, who may refuse it if he so chooses. That as you are watching your companions, trying to figure out what Davroid's charades mean, one of those huge fish that's in the lake swims into you and sends you spinning around, and you will need to make a speed task to keep yourself in sight of the group, right? To like get your bearings fast enough that you don't lose track of your companions.
Goodness. I don't know if I think I'll spend the XP. I don't know if
Okay.
I can afford the trouble right now.
That's fine. You spend the XP. A fish zooms by, but it misses you as it kind of floats off into the distance.
Willard will kind of point at the rock with a claw and kind of like point and then look at Davroid and then kind of put his hands up or put his paws up like he's shrugging. Like, what are you trying to?
yeah,
What do we do
Davroid?
with that information?
or like
Spotify listeners, we're watching a
Yeah.
sort of like a cursed YMCA happening.
Oh goodness, I think. I mean, it's hard to communicate. Armis is going to try to shoot out 2 webs from his. I don't know if I could really get them to shoot while I'm underwater, but I think he's going to attempt to attach web to it to see if we can move it.
To the
if-
rock?
To the rock, yeah.
That's cool. Okay. You are, if you spend 1 XP for the player intrusion, you succeed without a roll. Otherwise, I'm going to make you roll a might task.
Yeah, I'm just going to do it.
Great. That's a player intrusion. You have successfully adhered web to the rock. The rock is still glowing and like leaking clouds out of it, but you are not transported through it.
are the webs.
No.
Willard will point a claw upwards and and then start like swimming upwards, and if he needs to help Armis, like grab hold of him or anything, he'll do that.
I will need might tasks from everybody who's swimming.
Davroid can't swim.
At all?
Did he just sink?
What?
This whole way?
Yeah.
Oh, shoot, we did establish that in a past campaign. Davroid is just down there foundering. Willard, it's a might task of 3 because you're lightweight and you're just swimming upwards. Armis, it's a might task of 5 because you're encumbered by the stone. Davroid, it's a might task of 10 because you can't swim. It is an actual impossible task for you without assistance from others.
Holy cow.
Shit.
But Willard right away doesn't have a reason to know that or to think about that because Davroid didn't mention it.
He didn't include that in the charade.
No.
And we're bad note takers.
I say, Willard's going to start swimming up. Obviously, if he notices Davroid struggling, then he'll
Davroid, what is it? What are you doing right now?
I'm just trying to think, like, if for someone who doesn't know how to swim, what would happen? Like, would they be more is he
This far down, the water's
water?
going to be heavy enough that it'll mostly float you in limbo. So yes, as chat says, what you would be doing is drowning. In fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll.
Well, he has like the mask, so he has a little bit of air.
That's right. He does have the air mask thing from Armis.
He might just swim in to try and get to the rock somehow, or ask Armis to like swing it towards him.
Oh, like he's going to grab hold of it?
Yeah.
Okay. Sure. You communicate that to Armis that's what you want, that you want him to swing the rock into you. So then Willard, he looks like he's under control.
Okay,
You know,
Willard's
he's
going to
signaling stuff.
Willard's going to try to keep pace with Armis is what Willard's goal is, like swimming up but alongside Armis.
Armis is going to try and expend 2 effort to lift this stinking thing.
Great. Now it's a difficulty 3 task with a target roll of 9. This is a might-based roll.
Willard is also, just to make sure that this happens, he's also going to spend 2 effort.
Great. So now it's a target roll of 3 for Willard.
Okay.
Right, rolling. Oh my god. I'm going to spend an XP to roll.
Okay.
That was a 3 on the dice.
Oof.
Willard got a 10, so he's good.
Great. Willard's doing the thing. Armis is down here trying to dislodge the rock from where it's like impaled into the bed of the river. This is like the hardest part of the task.
Oh, heck yeah. 18 on the die.
18 on the die. Finally, with like a Herculean effort, maybe, 2 more of his arms join the pull. Armis finally rips this rock out of the surface. There's this underwater as it kind of comes upwards. And are you swinging it over to Davroid?
It feels dry underwater.
That's fine. It's all one motion. So yeah, you kind of pull it up and swing it over towards Davroid. Davroid, you reach out a hand towards it.
Yep.
Davroid reaches out a hand. As soon as he makes contact, Davroid is gone. There's just Armis and Willard now. A bunch of bubbles come out of Armis as he he yells at nothing.
Willard's just going to point up again, like, we just need to get back to the surface and figure this out.
Yeah,
Great.
I'm just going to try and drag this
The 2
rock.
of you successfully drag the rock to the surface. You arrive just as you run out of air. So like the last possible second, you are able to kind of break out of the lake, and working together, you get back to the surface. You have this rock still attached. You kind of drag it ashore. You're both sopping wet. And you just kind of like get it there. What's going on?
They must have... where did they go?
They went into the rock, Willard. I don't know where else they would have gone.
Do we hold on to the rock? Do we go in?
I'm so scared. I don't know, Willard. I'm still a little tipsy.
I don't want to go into the rock, if I'm being honest.
I don't know if we have a choice. We could try and break it, but I don't know if that'll get them out.
I don't
We
know.
cut from here to Davroid Gravelheart. Davroid. It's cloudy. The walls are cloud. The floor is cloud. Everything is cloud. You are sitting in an ornate living room. You are seated upon a recliner. And the recliner has the legs kicked out, super comfortable, made of cloud. And on the walls, there are these like nice tapestries and ornate things. As you sit down, a butler comes over to you in a nice suit that is like a little too baggy. It's like kind of put on over maybe another round of clothes, like double layer. And he just says, hello, sir, some refreshment. And he holds out, there's like some champagne glasses filled with orange juice on it, you know, and he's got some like biscuits and stuff. Some refreshments for you?
So Davroid knows he's in the ethereal plane?
Yes, Davroid knows this is the ethereal plane that he's entered.
Okay. Does he know, like, clouds or what that would mean?
Just that he's in the ethereal plane, but you wouldn't know. I mean, no, you don't know too much about this structure. Obviously, it is a structure in the ethereal plane, so there is some kind of intelligence behind it, but you wouldn't know much else. Not without a roll, at least.
Coughing. Not right now.
Oh, yes,
Where
okay.
am I?
Are you here to fix the leak? Or are you here for a job?
Neither?
What are you doing on our chair?
I went into a rock and I'm here now.
An interesting tale. You should tell it to the mistress of the house. This way. And he starts leading you through ornate rooms and fancy things. Frode, you are standing on a deck or a patio of some kind with 4 staircases leading down and no visibility of the house behind you. But you hear a familiar voice who is having conversation with this butler as the butler leads him down the hallways and says, yes, this way. The mistress will be just through here. She's usually in the library at this time of day.
Hello?
Davroid, you hear Frode's voice kind of echo from nowhere.
Hello?
Davroid, is that you?
Frode?
Oh no. Oh no. Boys, is there a way back into the house?
Oh, the little lackeys.
Yeah, your servants all look at each other. We've only been in it the one time. We got in through a rock. Do you have a rock? We could try. You're a rock. One of them high fives you. Does not get back into the house.
That's the spirit, boys. Davroid, you must find a way out of that house. Do not talk.
You hear a voice echo down the hallway towards him. You hear, "Hello, are you looking for something? Come this way. I'll get you some tea."
Your name.
Davroid, you're standing there. On one side of you, as I've already described, is Andromeda, the Silver Star, although you don't know her by name. She is, a platinum blonde, kind of glowing gold freckles, pale skin, wreathed in clouds, and standing there in front of you like, this way, I'll get you some tea.
With Frode's comment, would Davroid be able to deduce that this is at least a fey creature?
Yeah. With your, because I mean, you're a detective. You're good at putting things together quickly.
No tea for me, but I will accompany you.
Okay, nice to meet you. I'm a dragon. What's your name?
I'm a dwarf. Nice to meet you, too.
That's not your name. What's your name? She leads you into the next room. I like writing books about people. See? And she shows you the walls are lined with books. Each of them has a person's name on it. Or a person's face, I should say, drawn on the spine.
That's a lot of stories.
Yes, I'm a collector. One of the best in the area, actually. You notice that one of the bookshelves has no dust on it, and some of the others do, as if all of the books were recently pulled off and then put back on the shelf. And there are 2 gaps in the collection.
I am looking for my friend.
That sounds challenging. What's his name?
I believe you've already interacted.
I've interacted with a lot of people. Which of them was your friend?
Probably the one you were last negotiating with.
Ooh, the negotiator. He was all right. Didn't know a great bargain when he saw one, though. I tried to do him a favor. He just left. Are you here to negotiate?
I'm here to get him.
Oh, you're just here to leave? Boring. Well, I'll tell you
sorry.
where he went for a
what?
trade. Who's his boss? Who's pulling the strings?
I cannot give you that information. That's sworn to secrecy.
Well, unfortunately, so am I.
Surely there's something else you would want.
I'll take your name.
I don't think that's worth just simply leaving.
Well, you didn't want to give me what I thought was worth simply leaving.
I also do not think that is of equal value.
Well, you're allowed to be wrong about things.
So there are only two things you want from me?
There are two things I will trade for that information. I want many things.
But why was he allowed to leave without giving you that information then?
He amused me. And at the end of the day, he was negotiating in good faith. You're just looking for a weak point. Classic mortal.
I would say I'm looking for a weak point. I'm simply looking for my friend. I didn't mean to come here either.
Well, you know where your friend is. All you need is the directions to get there. Hardly anything. I ask for a simple exchange.
I don't think it's well, I guess it's simple, but it's meaningful to me. Someone of your stature, probably, it might not be as meaningful for.
The knowledge of who his boss is more meaningful to
name.
you? Oh, your name?
Yeah,
Names are of immense value.
I can see.
Yes. But surely you should know if you score in a trade of equal value, you're not going to wind up with terms that favor you.
That is how negotiations, or how parties negotiate in general.
Want that tea now?
So, what happens in this stalemate we have found ourselves in?
It's not a stalemate.
No?
You can leave anytime you like. I just won't tell you the way. Dangerous place to get lost, though. We cut from here to Armis Thrupp and Willard Taffy, who are back on the shore with this glowing rock sitting on the beach between the two of you. Davroid has just disappeared into it. You're still sopping wet. You've just pulled it on the shore. You're discussing what to do.
I'm gonna throw up, Willard. I'm gonna straight up throw up again. But this time two friends. Two of my friends have been sucked into a rock. I can't take it.
I just don't know.
I'll try and read it. I try and read it and understand it with trying to also grasp the miming that Davroid did with us to get a better understanding.
Sure.
See if there's
That was
anything.
that was an intelligence check of 5 for Davroid. I'll make it a 4 for you, eased by the fact that he tried his best to charade what all of those things were underwater in the dark.
All right, I'm gonna put a little bit of effort in. So stressed. Please.
Oh God! I can't take it.
Spend an XP.
I spend an XP and I do more effort.
As you're doing this, you see Willard go back to his pack that's on the beach and open it up, and he pulls out a canteen of peach tea, which he hands to you while you're pacing around thinking, staring at the rock. And if you drink the peach tea, he says, "Here, this might help." If you drink it, you can, if you make a recovery roll, you only need to spend half of the necessary time. So if like you need to regenerate any points in order to make this work,
Yeah.
you can do it faster.
So if you haven't done any, you basically get a free 1 action recovery roll. It will not eat into your 1 action.
I think I'm doing okay right now. I think
Just
I'm
keep
okay.
it. Have it on hand for later.
I'm gonna sip the tea. Thank you so much. Oh, and I don't know. I rolled a 2, Willard. I don't know. I'm a failure.
No.
My child will never love me. My wife will never love me again.
Willard just like kind of his eyes widen because he doesn't know, he hasn't heard about this part of him at all.
I told that lady I'd get her son back. I looked her right in the eyes as respectfully as I could. I said we'd get her son.
Willard kind of like cautiously takes a couple steps toward Armis and like puts a claw on one of his spider legs and is just like, it's all right. It's all right.
Wraps him up. You can smell his awful breath. He just gives you a big old hug and starts
Armis
crying.
and Willard each take an XP for an exceptional scene and exceptional role play. And actually, Frode, you should get one too for your negotiation scene. That was super good. Davroid's still in his, so that's the jury is out on Davroid. But yeah.
It's all right. What do you think? Let's talk it out. What do you think Davroid meant by this?
And he'll like mime the circle.
I racked my brain twice about it, Willard. I don't know. You try and figure it out.
Okay, Willard will try his own chance at figuring it out, trying to like what this rock does, what Davroid was trying to say. He has 3 edge and intellect, so he gets a free level of effort, but he's going to spend that second level of effort as well. He's going to get his mole nose real close to this rock without touching it.
You can hear the magic within it a little bit. It's kind
He
of
rolled a
whispering.
19.
19. Success with a minor effect. What would you like your minor effect to be?
My friends come home. That's not too much to ask.
I think a minor effect that might be beneficial to you is that you could, instead of your tea having the normal healing properties of the pool thing, it could immediately sober Armis. Like
yes,
the
that'd be
tea would like
perfect.
give him kind of like
I love
a
that.
freedom from the sobering or freedom from the inebriation and help him kind of get his wits back.
I love that. Let's do that.
Cool.
So yeah, what is
So you know everything Davroid knew. So you know that it is
Okay.
it's essentially like a rupture in the material plane. A creature has crossed back and forth from the ethereal plane so many times, which these are all weird words for Willard. So I'm not sure how
Yeah.
he interprets them, but you have the understanding.
he'll speak it
the
out loud.
creatures is back and forth between the ethereal plane so often that they've like left behind this kind of tear in the curtain, if you will.
Okay.
And the tear is leaking ethereal energy. That's what this floating cloud that's not moving is, and probably all the mist over this lake is just like energy from the border ethereal that's leaking through. So if you can find a way to close or pacify this kind of rupture, then it would prevent the leak and probably stop anybody from being sucked through. Like that would close the door, so to speak.
All right, it's something or someone keeps going from here to a magic place, back to here, back to there. This is like a crack or a hole between the two, and Davroid and Frode are probably there, and we're here, and this is what caused the cloud. And if we can somehow get rid of this, we can stop the cloud and probably stop the fishermen from disappearing.
Okay.
But we don't know. I don't know how they can get back.
I think we might just have to trust them. I think if we go in, it might just make things worse. I think
I
we just
agree.
might have to do our original mission of trying to shut this shit down. And I hate to
agree.
propose this again, but I really wonder if gunking all over is enough of a patch. And I'm sober now.
We cut from Armis, sober Armis, to Frode the Forsaken. Frode, you are standing on a little deck of cloud, 4 staircases.
Well, this is a predicament, boys. You wouldn't happen to recognize these staircases, would you?
No, I've never seen him. News to me.
All right. And just to confirm, you said one was like a crimson horizon, one was like a noon, and the other one was like kind
Like
of
a
a
dusky
gray
twilight.
overcast.
Yeah, and a dusky twilight. So dusky twilight, gray overcast, crimson sunset or sunrise, one of the two, and like high noon.
What time was it when we went to the lake?
It was evening. Well, not late evening, but like sunset, sundown.
I want to go for the. All right, boys. You have your wits about you, right?
Huh?
What's your names?
I don't know.
Yeah, I figured. All right,
Yeah.
here you go. I look at the books, look at them.
You see ones like each of their face is on a book. Like
Right.
there's a book of each of them.
Sort them out, and I'm like, all right, this one's you, and this one's you.
They look down at the books kind of in horror as it dawns on them, you know, like what's happened to them and who they are. As you give back their stories, essentially, you give back their names, and they look down at the books and they look up at you, eyes wide. Oh,
Now
what is?
calm down.
The one just like begins panic ripping off like the butler outfit. The other one is like, my rod, where's my fishing rod? And they're just like kind of freaking out a little bit,
All right,
a
now,
lot of it.
Where you remember those children's stories they used to tell you when you go out in the woods, you get lost, and it's very dangerous, and a misstep or whatnot could get you killed or eaten up or gobbled?
Yeah.
Well, you happen to wander into one of those stories. So I'm gonna need you to stay very calm and collected, because if you don't, we could run into issues. But I need you to have your wits about you, and without you having your own books, you were kind of, no offense, docile. Now,
Okay. All right. We can get through this. Think of it like a fishing trip. All right.
rule number 1 of this fishing trip: never speak your name while we're here.
Okay.
No circumstances.
Right.
That, you know what just happened to you? You spoke your name.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Got it.
2, we stick together. No
You hear that,
wandering.
Thompson? Don't speak your name.
Whoa, hey, no names.
Well, it wasn't my name.
I don't speak any names.
No names.
No names.
How do we talk to each other?
You may call me Rock,
Okay.
and I'm gonna call you as one shorter than the other.
Yes.
I'm gonna call you short and you tall.
Makes sense.
Now introduce yourselves using these pseudo names.
Hi, Thompson. I'm tall.
All right, how about you just don't speak? All right, you let me doing all the speaking.
The one who keeps saying Thompson mimes zipping his lips.
All right. Now we're gonna go into the dark gray cloud staircase, and we're probably gonna get lost.
I'm gonna cut from here to Davroid Gravelheart. Davroid, you are in the library. The dragon's in front of you. Want that tea now? You look a little dry, and it's a dangerous place to get lost.
You know, I will pass on the tea, and I think I will be open to negotiate.
Okay, so you want the path out.
Well, also some lost fishermen.
The fisherman again? That's so boring. Here, I'll give you 3 whole fishermen. She smacks the 3 books down on the table. If you tell me who's calling the shots for whatever this super secret thing is that you're all doing. 3 whole fishermen. That's a great deal. That's 3 names for 1 name. And I'm not even getting the name.
So, If I tell you the name,
Yeah.
what, like, since it's not mine, what happens? What are the
I would just
prereqs?
know who it was. I don't like own them or anything. You don't have the rights to bargain away the name that's not yours. It's copyright infringement. The Sealy Court gets really offended if you start trying to like pull it. It's weird. You just can't do it that way.
So it's just the knowledge of it.
Yeah. You would even still know. I'm being so gentle here. This is like beginner poker where like all the cards are face up.
What if I also offer to fix that, or help you fix that leak in exchange for the rest of them?
I'd accept that. Wait, for the rest of the books?
No, the fisherman.
No. How about we start small? You're clearly new at this. Let's start with the 3 books for whoever's running the operation.
He ponders and
I can see it eating Willard and Armis up inside. Feel free to appear as shoulder angels as Davroid's conscience if you want in this scene to whisper with him.
You have to say it like an LA Noir-esque
yeah,
thought,
Yeah.
though.
we go into cut to black and white.
I need the ocean song.
Do we know whether she's lying? See if you can look into her eyes and tell if she's lying.
I don't think she's lying. It's just what she will do with this
See if you
information.
could roll some dice to see if she's lying.
If you catch my drift.
I do.
Voice break was great.
Anything to add, other shoulder angel Mike?
Golly, I'm so glad I'm not here. Boy, howdy, I think I'd just shit my pants if I was in front of this dragon. I feel like I'm in Star Wars watching this many negotiations going on. You know what I mean? Goodness gracious.
What's
I
Star
think
Wars?
We just might need to give up who it is. I don't know. I don't know shit about Faye. I think I would just want to get out of this situation and give her something. I don't know. Do you have any treasured or painful memories from your past that you could give her?
Potentially. I'd rather not, though.
All right, we'd all rather not. I want to be sipping tea with my boys. And two of them are gone, and I can't gunk on enough things to get you out.
All right,
Wow, this is
Josh.
a crazy conscious.
This is way different than Aulen's calming artificer voice. Yes, what's up?
I would like to roll an intellect roll to see if I could deduce or figure out what her intent with this information would be or how she could use it.
Okay.
And spend 2 levels of effort.
Okay.
All right, dice, be kind to me. Oh, 15.
Let's go.
15. This is a creature who has lived a long time and is a collector of stories, and you have brought into her midst evidence of a story being currently written where people don't want other people to know they're involved in it. She may not have any plans for the information. She just wants to know. She wants to be the person who has those secrets. You get the impression that there is someone whose store of knowledge she is competing with. Maybe someone who looks down on dragons or something like someone who like is some kind of repository of knowledge that she's trying to outperform. And you have the impression that she's like she is scraping for like anything over this other being.
Okay.
Sounds safe enough to me, Davroid.
Maybe.
Davroid will say, all right, the 3 books for the knowledge of who's pulling the strings.
Excellent. She holds out a hand to shake.
Davroid shakes her hand.
Great. Who's pulling the strings?
Chasm Jasper is his name.
Are you intentionally trying to lie to her, or are you thinking of Chasm Jasper as the boss instead of Salen, Queen of Gaim?
He's thinking of Chasm Jasper as the boss.
Okay. The truth, though, is that it is Salen, and you would have known that. So I need you to decide whether you're going to mislead her or whether you're going to tell her it's Salen, Queen of Gaim.
He won't try and lie. He thinks that would be an incredibly poor idea.
As all the shoulder angels nod in agreement. Yeah. Okay. Salen, Queen of Gaim. She's always meddling. Here you go. And she hands you 3 books. Fascinating. Well, there's your fisherman. You want to make another deal?
Well, maybe I help you with the leak in exchange for the rest of the fishermen.
The rest of the fisherman is not an equivalent exchange. That's not going to work. You could get... I'll give you another fisherman, though. Like a single fisherman. If you close
for the leak.
Yeah, if you plug the leak.
How many fishermen are left?
I could tell you that number in exchange for you plugging the leak.
What would be valuable enough for the rest of the fishermen?
Your name, and you would need to trick your companions into giving me their names.
I don't think I would enjoy losing my name.
Shoulder Angel Willard is suddenly so talkative.
Don't want to be anywhere near this lady.
How about one more fisherman for the leak then? Go back to that.
Okay. Deal?
And Davroid holds out his hand.
She shakes your hand. All right, well, get to work. Leroy will take you to the leak, and a butler walks in and says, "I'll show you to the leak, sir," and leads you away.
Carrying the 3 books with him, or 4 books now.
There are 4 people walking behind you. Great, we cut from here to Frode the Forsaken, who is about to lead his folks out and possibly get lost. Frode, which exit are you taking?
I'm gonna roll for which I think is going to lead me back, based off of my knowledge of the Feywilds.
This would be an intelligence task with a difficulty of 5, eased by 1 for your Fey knowledge, to a difficulty 4.
Is there anything invisible?
No, I don't think so. Actually, I mean, I suppose the house is invisible. But that's not... You're not trying to find, like...
Wait. Can I see the house?
I don't know if you can see invisible things, maybe.
I can.
Well, okay, you're looking for the house, or are you looking for the way back to the material plane?
Well, I mean, if I would have seen the house, I might have gone after Davroid.
Can you see invisible things just normally?
Yes, I can see the unseen.
Yeah, so you can see the house then. The house is directly beneath you. So, like, if you just kind of scoop some clouds out from the deck you're on, you would get back to the house.
Knock on the floor.
You knock on the floor. There is no reply.
I really don't want to piss off a moon dragon, boys. You know what a moon dragon is?
Yes. Yes, we do.
Yeah.
We've seen one now. We know.
Yeah, we don't want to piss
We really
that
don't
one
want to
off.
go back in there.
Well,
But you own our stories now, so if you tell us to, we will.
Well, I mean, I gave them back.
Oh, we could keep these?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. We don't want to go back.
Okay. Yeah, that'd be kind of cruel of me to let you read them and not keep them.
Short and tall are gonna roll d4s to decide which way they leave.
Whoa, wait, whoa! Short and tall. Remember one of those rules I told you? Sticking together is one of them.
Yeah, but that was when you owned us.
All right, short and tall. I'm gonna roll persuasion for this.
Okay.
Short and tall.
Roll your persuasion quick, because I'm about to roll their d4s. If you don't roll in time, they're gone.
I rolled a 15. Now, mind you, that is hindered. 15 on the die. Hindered.
They are not high enough level creatures for that to matter. You successfully persuade them. They both stop and go, what?
If you are lost here, you will never find your way back within your own lifetime. Do you know how I'm nearly 700 years old. I lost count at some point, but let me tell you, I spent way too many of those years stuck in these lands.
Okay, you convinced us. We'll go back in the house with you.
No, we're not going back in the house. That's bad.
Oh, okay.
That would piss off the moon dragon.
Good, love that. Cool. So then which way's out?
Frode's gonna roll for which direction he thinks will lead him out, as he was intending at the very beginning of this conversation. Nat 20!
Nat 20?
Let's go!
Let's go. Frode on a nat 20. If you spent any effort, etc. on this intelligence check, you get all of it back. You also receive a major effect, which, if you're open to it, I'll give you at the end of this instead of you deciding on. But first, the way out. It's another chunk of memory that slots into place for you, right? And you remember that the Feywild is eternally twilight, always on the border between day and night. So that blue dusky side of the staircase, that's going to take you into the Feywild proper. The ethereal plane is going to be flat cloud cover, no light source. Everything about the ethereal plane is misty, incorporeal, hard to put, real containers around. And so much like the house itself, the overcast area is the Feywild. There is a place that you were never brave enough to go before, where all of the dark, horrifying things that are too much for the Feywild reside. An echo plane called the Shadowfell, a land of barren stone and volcanoes, and home to all of the nightmares, literal nightmares. Like a kid has a nightmare and the creature appears in the Shadowfell. The nightmares of the creatures of the material plane. It is always lit in a crimson, blood-red sky, a la Mordor. And then lastly, there is a place where the sun actually rises and sets, a place with natural cycles, where it flits between all the emotions, the dark and the good. And that is the material plane, where the sun will rise to high noon if you go down that side of the staircase.
All right. Now, based off my reasoning, that's hell. That's the stories where I told you that's where you get lost, and that's where you get lost, but there's no light, and that's home.
You seem smart to us. You rolled a great persuasion roll recently. Let's
head home now.
The major effect that I was going to pitch you on is that you will also know how to seal a rift, having created one in your history. And with that, we'll slot in another chunk of your knowledge, the knowledge of how to go from the material plane to the Feywild. Is that an acceptable major effect for your nat 20?
That's an acceptable major effect!
Great. So you also know the correct way to arrange what is absolutely not random junk. They are specific pieces of an incantation requiring different chemical compounds that are found in pottery and sticks and seashells and whatever. You know how to arrange them in any proper place. And then you simply need to spend a few points from your intellect pool to infuse them with magic. And that would be enough to open a rift between the material plane and the Feywild. It would work in both directions. You also know that by arranging that same pattern of things around any other rift, you can close it again by simply spending 2 points from your intellect pool. That is all that it would take to accomplish that goal. So Frode has that knowledge.
All right. Woo! I'm remembering a lot today, boys. Tall and short. Let's get out of here. And before I do, I'm just gonna... And he looks down at his arm that has been crumbled and worried away. And he takes a few chunks that are a little loose. And he crushes them between his fingers and leaves a little trail towards noon.
Okay. Leaves a little trail. You walk down, and suddenly you are back in the material plane. It's not exact, but Willard and Armis, you've been trusting that Frode and Davroid are going to come back on their own time. And sure enough, the next day around noon, Frode just kind of walks down out of the mist. Like, he kind of walks over the lake like Stairway to Heaven music video vibes as he strolls down. He's being followed by two fishermen who you do not know, but he re-enters and he sees the two of you sitting there, they're by the glowing stone. The cloud is still above, the mist is still everywhere, but now it's lit by a noon sun. So it's brighter. It's just still limited length of visibility.
The stone is now thoroughly covered with webbing.
And nothing has happened to it other than that. Like, it's still glowing through the webs.
I don't know what else to do, Willard.
I could bury it.
Woo! If I could breathe, I would be breathing in this fresh air.
Frode!
We're home. We're home. The two fishermen just drop to the ground and like kiss the dirt and then run off towards Hembelihu.
Yes. What? I know it's probably gone like 30 minutes.
It's been on for a day.
A whole day. A whole very worrying day.
It's been a day.
Yes.
I know an appointment with a man, Harrison. I gotta go meet Harrison.
Where's Davroid?
Yeah, where's Davroid? We'll think about that right now.
Wait, Davroid isn't here?
No.
Oh, no. Oh, that's right. I heard him. If he's behind me, and it took me a day to get back. Oh, jeez. All right, so you touch the stone, don't do that. Really bad. Go way up at a very powerful moon dragon's ethereal palace, and she'll probably take your name and enslave you.
That sounds so stressful.
That's what happened to all the fishermen. I was only able to negotiate 2 fishermen lives out. I almost negotiated for a whole bookshelf worth of lives. It's a long story.
A whole bookshelf?
Every book was a soul, essentially. I was 300 or so, but she wanted a little too much from me for that one, and I couldn't accept.
That's all right. That's all right, Frode. I truly have no idea what I would have done in that situation.
I truly have no idea what you're talking about, but it sounds crazy.
Absolutely.
I essentially left 300 people to be enslaved forever by a fey creature, forever powerful, for my own selfish gain.
No. You can't think of it that way.
I could try to delude myself. That's what I've done.
No, you saved who you could.
You did. And if we were truly desperate, we could send in another poor sap with some plans to try and get him out. But from the little that I know about Fae, they seem incredibly tricky and wily, so I think you were lucky to get away with
Good
what
news.
you got.
I remember how to get back to the Fey Wilds.
Oh.
Whenever I want.
Is that good?
Yeah, is that great?
Well, I mean, good for me. But also, if we can send in perhaps people with something of value to negotiate for these other fishermen's lives. Though I'm pretty sure she might get real tired real quick if we send a bunch of people. So we gotta send something valuable. We gotta do it in like as few transactions as possible.
We'll have to figure that out some other time. Do you think Davroid's gonna make it back okay? Do we need to go in to try and go after him? What do we do?
How good of a negotiator do you think he is?
He's a wily son of a gun. I mean, he takes so many dang notes.
I did tell him not to give her his name.
Well, if he knows that, I think he'll find a way.
Yeah.
All right,
sure.
It took me 24 hours to give him, what? He's probably only a little behind me. Give him another 8. Go back in if he doesn't come out.
That sounds reasonable.
We'll keep sitting by the rock. If you do need to go see that guy, we just got back. I'd really like you to stay around for at least a minute before you run away again. We've been apart for way too long.
Yeah, to be frank, the whole reason I was going to meet with Harrison was try to figure out how to get to the Fey Wilds, and, well, I've already kind of done that, so...
Screw the man!
Well, I wouldn't go that far, but I will say I do no longer need that appointment.
Well, that is good, and you say you can
The rock
get
just
to-
pulsates gently at your feet as you're having this conversation.
Frode, I tried gunking on it. It won't stop. Do you know what to do about this thing?
I could probably get rid of it. think Davroid could probably go out the same way I came out, which I don't think requires this stone.
Let's wait. I guess you know more about it than I, so...
Well, we can at least prepare.
Yes, prepare, maybe.
And
sounds
Frode
good.
goes about collecting a few shells off the ground and some other things to surround the stone and to create a closing ritual.
Meanwhile, Davroid Gravelheart, you stand in the corner of the bake shop behind one of the ovens. There's kind of a crack in the, like a mouse hole sized crack in the floor that if you look through, you kind of peek through with your eye, you can see down into the wine cellar. And even though the wine cellar is on the other side and you don't see anything dripping through, the butler is like, yes, this is the leak. If you can just patch this up for us, that would be great.
What's the material?
Cloud.
It's cloud.
Yes.
Do you just need more cloud to fix it?
I don't know. You're the repairman.
Can I roll, I guess, another intellect
Sure.
to figure out this cloud material
Yeah.
and where to maybe get it?
Sure.
I will spend 2 effort using my 2 edge.
Okay. Is that all you're applying to the roll?
I know a little bit about everything.
Great. That drops it from a difficulty 3 to a difficulty 0 task. You just succeed.
Perfect.
It's cloud and it's surrounded by cloud. You're pretty sure if you just kind of squoosh the cloud over, it will cover the rift and like it will plug the leak.
All right. Davroid will just kind of move some cloud around and see if that covers it.
It does cover it. Frode, as you are arranging things around the rock, before you are done and you know that this wasn't you, the rock just suddenly goes quiet. The pulsing stops.
Oh, did it happen too soon?
That's worrisome.
On that note, tonight's adventure at the Winged Badger Tavern comes to a close. All right, let's whiz through the character progression stuff because we ran a little bit late there trying to get to a good cut point in that adventure, but holy crap, what a session, you guys. That was so good.
That was so fun.
We saw Andromeda the Silver Star come back. We got,
Oh my
man,
god.
so good.
Aulen still hates her so bad.
Rebirth of the Shoulder Angels. Love it. Okay, let's start with our overarching goal of the party completing a job on Salen's behalf. You did, in fact, do a task you were sent out to do today, so that's 2 XP for everybody. The next one is the party's goal of uncovering a conspiracy. You have not learned any more details about the mysterious blue-cloaked fellows or, what they might be up to. And so on that note, we do not have any new XP to gain. Let's jump over to Willard Taffy. I think I know what Willard's going to be here, but Jake, I'd love for you to tell us if you think Willard's had some growth on his arc to basically return to grace, find himself again.
I think so, because this is the session where Willard realized that magic can save his life and not just ruin it. So I think the moment of being saved by the spirit animal fish is going to be, or not just is going to be, is a turning point for him. And that enabled him to, instead of going, oh, I hate this, he actually grabbed the cipher out of the dirt snake. So that would be my pitch for his character development.
I agree. Players, you all agree?
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
That's 2 XP for Willard.
Thank you.
Let's go out of order. Let's do Davroid next.
I mean, it's establishing himself as someone important.
Do you feel
I think-
that he's made any progress to that goal?
I think interacting with a cosmic being feels very important to him.
That's true.
Continue, sorry, go.
I was just going to say, I also think in a weird way that is maybe not, this isn't really something he did, but there was a moment where the characters tried to decide whether to come in after him or not, and they were like, we think he can handle himself, and that is a sign that he's earning the respect of his peers. I think that's probably a big stepping stone for him.
I was going to
think
say, I think Willard, he's increased in Willard's stature view.
Yes.
Increased in Willard's view a lot this session. So that's just
Great.
my opinion on that.
So that's 2 XP for Davroid Gravelheart. Let's do Armis Thrupp next.
I cried about my kid. I don't know.
Has Armis shared any of that yet? Has he gone there? Because that vulnerable place might be, a sign of him kind of giving up the life of secrets and everything?
He had talked to, like, he had the one thing on the rooftop with Frode, so I think that would probably be the most if we want to do the sharing. Other than that, I gunked on a lot of stuff. I freaked out. I pulled up a rock. I don't know if he really did a whole lot on his journey today.
What do you think, players?
I mean, so I know we said that like no double counting in terms of XP, but like if he shares something with each character separately, can that keep going? Or
I think the difference here isn't that it's a different character. I think it's that he shared more. The first time it was a veiled thing where he was just like, there's a girl down there that I liked and maybe a kid. And this time he was like, look at the wrong that I've done and what my life, like he went to the more vulnerable place of like, it's not just, oh, woe is me, I'm the victim. It's like, look at what I've done to myself.
I agree. Like and Willard definitely was taken off guard by that and was just like, they're there. Like, I don't know what this is about, but
the tall humanoid spider getting a pat on the calf from, from the mole. I think that could be worth 2 XP.
I'd say that's a yes from me.
Peeling back the layers little by little.
He did break down.
He's like onions. And then we've got Frode the Forsaken. I don't even know if it's worth discussing for Frode. I feel like he made huge progress on his journey to have his curse lifted. He's listing his curse on eBay.
I definitely think a lot happened. Frode made a lot of progress, a lot more than he was expecting.
What a fascinating mental journey you took us on, watching Frode try and decide with that bookshelf full of lives at stake.
I'm not gonna lie.
That was so good.
I was very close to taking that deal, and the only thing that stopped me was seeing Thunk in the chat. I saw Thunk, and I'm like,
it worked.
If I do it, it's gonna I might save all the fishermen. I might not even. But at the same time, I think that's gonna weigh heavily on Frode for essentially sacrificing a deal where he could have saved 300 people.
That's true.
Or something selfish.
And she got what she wanted anyway without having to bargain with Frode, who was the stronger negotiator.
That's true.
Of the two. She was able to, it was still a bargain. It wasn't like she cheated him, but, she was able to get back to like her terms essentially with Davroid and still get what she wanted. So that's kind of an interesting consequence. But
Davroid still held strong enough to not be tricked by the standard,
Yes, absolutely. Unlike
I'm
other
just happy
sessions.
I got short and tall out, okay?
That's true. You did save short and tall. Unlike
they
other
were about
sessions,
to unsave themselves.
unlike other sessions, I can't just leave us here. I have to give you a small epilogue, a little cliffhanger, if you will, because as Frode is arranging his shells and his pottery and his little bits of stone and grass and whatnot, and as you're sitting there around the stone, nothing happens until it stops glowing. But as soon as it stops glowing, you hear from the tree line, wait, no, and then you hear the activation of ciphers. And 3 projectiles boom, 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 thud into the stone, knocking it back towards the water. But it is too late to knock it out of the way. At the same time, there are 2 whooshes and a flutter of blue fabric as two beings rush towards you and try and scoop up the pottery that Frode is grabbing. And with them at the center of the circle, reaching for pottery, tonight's session fully comes to a close.
Dun, dun, dun.
We'll see you. Is it next week? I think it's not next
2
week.
weeks? 3 weeks?
3 weeks.
It's in several weeks.
3 freaking weeks until we find out what
That's
happens.
That's a crazy cliffhanger.
Next week might be a tavern talk. Trevor, is next week your tavern talk or the one after?
I thought next week was the off week and the week after is the
next
tavern
week
talk.
off. Week after tavern talk. Trevor's going to teach us cool things. We will see you in 2 weeks. Until then, from all of us here at the Winged Badger Tavern, Frode the Forsaken, what do we tell the people?
We tell them, remember about jury nullification. I will not let that die. You cannot forget it. I will bring it back to the ends of the earth.
Yeah, but do we tell them anything else?
GG's a GN, I guess.
Yeah, that's right. Good night. Bye.